Please rise in body or spirit as we sing our gathering hymn, Sing and Rejoice, number 395 in the Gray Hymnal.
We'll sing it together a couple times and then we'll do it as a round. Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice.
Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice.
Welcome, one and all, to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Hillsborough. So who are we exactly? We are a community of welcoming, open-minded people who strive to connect with one another in love. We are bound together by covenant, not creed, committed to a way of being with and supporting one another rather than to a singular doctrine. To that end, we encourage and support each other in our individual spiritual growth and deepening of faith. So today, whoever you are, member, friend, or guest, and for whatever reason you chose to join us today, we welcome you with open arms to our house of worship. My name is Caroline Monty, and I'm coordinating today's service. First, I would like to thank everyone who has made this worship celebration possible. I'd like to thank Aviva Enoch, our talented musical director, and I'd also like to thank our speaker, Jeff Welty, who will be sharing his reflections on how the definition of a blessing can be broader than we expect. Before we create our sacred space and begin worship, let us take a moment to share any announcements for the good of our congregation. I have two. The first is that Orange County's in the green zone today for the CDC, so masks are optional, and that there's coffee hour today, but it will be served inside. You can still take your coffee outside to drink it. Yeah. Are there any other announcements for the good of the community?
Hi, I'm Patty. I'm listening here for today, representing the Pastoral Care Committee. If anybody has any sorrows or joys they'd like to share, I'm happy to hear them.
Okay, now let's prepare for worship by creating our sacred space. This is also a great time to silence your cell phones.
Our chalice lighting words today come from Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage. Rejoice. Rejoice with full hearts, beloved people of blessing. Rejoice. May this time of worship celebrate what we know at our core. Blessings are real and ours to claim and radiate. Blessings are abundant and ours to revel in and pass along. Blessings are transformational and ours to be challenged by as we grow towards the faith we know we can be. Rejoice.
Our opening words are Everyday Blessings, written by Reverend Julia Corbett Haymeyer. Welcome into this sacred space, this hallowed hour, made sacred by our presence and intention here. We come with deep gratitude for everyday blessings, for the dependable changing of the seasons as they follow one another, for smiles and waves and spoken greetings, for being with others in worship, for babies and puppies and kittens, and for the wisdom of the old, everyday blessings that sustain us every day. Please stand in body and our spirit as we sing our opening hymn, number 121 in the Gray Hymnal, For All That Is Our Life.
128.
128.
Yeah.
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a sharing community where our joys are celebrated, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. Each Sunday, we take some time to reflect on the special happenings that have occurred this week among our members and friends. Some choose to share aloud, while others choose to remain silent. Here, we make room for both. For those of you who would like to share aloud, please take a moment before we begin to center yourself and collect your thoughts so that what you share this morning is personal, heartfelt, and brief. May all these joys and concerns shared today, both spoken and unspoken, be held within the heart of this community. Let us make it so by remaining silent for a moment as we consider what has been shared and how we might respond. May the community respond with amen and blessed be.
Amen.
I guess it's my turn now, so good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. Henry David Thoreau proclaimed that an early morning walk is a blessing for the whole day. I like to get out early for a walk, maybe a run if I'm feeling frisky, and I have to say I agree. It's a trifecta. It's time outside, it's time by myself, and it's exercise. It just sets the day up for success. But our theme this month is not walking specifically, but blessings more generally. I'm going to come back to them, but first a little detour about Thoreau. Thoreau is probably the most famous Unitarian in the Unitarian Universalist tradition, but I learned this week something you all might know already, which is that he wasn't really a Unitarian. He was born into, grew up in the Unitarian Church in Concord, Massachusetts, but at age 23, he submitted a terse note to the town clerk, resigning his membership in the church, and he never set foot in the meeting house again. I think his views may have been a little closer to today's Unitarian Universalism than the Unitarianism of the 1840s. So I guess we can count him, but I'm just saying it's a little bit iffy. Anyhow, back to walks and other blessings. The dictionary offers a few definitions of the word blessing, but the one that makes the most sense to me is a beneficial thing for which one is grateful, something that brings well-being. And that obviously includes material things like food and shelter, and it includes non-material things like a good health or the Ted Lasso TV series that Lori and I have been watching lately. It's great. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And it includes deeper things, spiritual things, emotional things like positive human relationships and the sense of community one finds in church. I guess all the things in Maslow's hierarchy of needs are blessings, one way of thinking about it. But remember that the definition contains the concept of gratitude, a thing for which one is grateful. And gratitude is big these days, right? We are constantly advised to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. You know, if Brene Brown is into it, then everyone is going to be into it. And she's into it. Right? She writes that practicing gratitude invites joy into our lives, and she reports that out of her thousands of research subjects, not a single one was joyful without also being grateful. So in her family, each night at dinner, they shared gratitudes, and because we want to be as wise and as enlightened as she is, we do that too, except for the nights when we don't have dinner together, or the nights that everybody's so grumpy they can't think of gratitude, or the nights that we forget. But other than that, we're doing great. We're trying. Practicing gratitude seems to me to be a modern version of counting your blessings. That's been good advice for more than a century, at least since Johnson Oatman wrote a popular hymn by the same name, Count Your Blessings, in 1897. The key verse in that hymn goes like this, and I'm just going to say it rather than sing it, which you all can count as a blessing if you've not heard me sing. When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged, thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. Basically what Oatman was suggesting is we take a minute or two to acknowledge all the ways in which we're fortunate. So from 1897 to today, practicing gratitude, counting blessings, it's supported by authorities old and new. And it's great. So many of us are blessed. I know I am, my family is. We're healthy, we have enough of everything, and we actually like each other at least 90% of the time, maybe 95 on a good day. And it's good for us to remember these things and reflect on them and draw warmth and comfort from them. But I want to ask today whether there is a risk to being too focused on blessings and on gratitude. Can it lead us to complacency or even a bit of selfish myopia? In Voltaire's Candide, the main character is tutored by a man named Dr. Pangloss, a hopeless optimist who proclaims that we are living in the best of all possible worlds. And sometimes I worry that spending so much time thinking about what's going well and how fortunate we are means not spending enough time paying attention to what isn't going as well and who isn't as fortunate. We can risk turning away from the problems and injustices and needs in the world. Now, I'm going to make a little confession here since I feel like I'm among friends. I am a little prone towards being Dr. Pangloss myself. I tend to think things are pretty good, or at least about as good as they can be, and that can lead me in some directions that I'm not always proud of. So, for example, I think the United States is pretty great. I'm not like a full-blown city on a hill American exceptionalist or anything, but when people around the world are asked if they could live anywhere, where would it be, they mostly say here. We have lots of freedoms and mostly peace and mostly prosperity. So we're blessed to live here, and I try to remember that and appreciate it. But sometimes I might be so focused on appreciating that, thinking how fortunate we are, that I fail to give sufficient attention to all the ways in which our country falls short or needs work. And my point here really isn't only or even mostly about politics. I could say similar things about my job. My job is great, and I should recognize that. But does that prevent me from thinking about ways that it could be better? We have wonderful friends, but should we actively cultivate a wider circle of folks? Of course, we all know people who lean the other way. They're constantly identifying problems and wanting to fix things. And sometimes those folks are so busy being shocked and appalled that their family or their school or their church or their country hasn't addressed issue X or Y or Z that they're blinded to all the good things about their church or school or family or whatever. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's some tension between practicing gratitude and being mindful of our blessings on the one hand, and being alert to injustice and engaged in solving problems on the other. And lately, I've been thinking about how that tension exists in church, as well as in our individual lives. So some of us, and at this point, it might not surprise you to know that I'm in this camp, enjoy a church because it's a time for quiet reflection. It's a respite from a busy life. It's a sanctuary. Maybe it's a time to count blessings. But there are other people who see church a little bit differently than that. They see an opportunity to come together and address injustices. Martin Luther King took this view. He called on the church to have a prophetic zeal and to develop a strong social witness. And I know that many here approach church that same way. It's a time to mention marches in Raleigh or remind us about donations to the food pantry. Even the way we end joys and sorrows by encouraging each other to think about how we might respond to what's been shared is a gentle call to action. So thinking about this has led me back to the definition of a blessing. And remember, it's not just a beneficial thing for which one is grateful. It also includes something that brings well-being. And ultimately, well-being involves more than being satisfied with our lot in life. It includes, too, engaging with meaningful challenges and wanting to leave the world a little better than we found it. So what I'm thinking is that those who call us to do that, who insist that we do that, who pull us away from complacency and into action, that those people are blessings too. So my older daughter's angry text messages earlier this week about some Supreme Court decisions, those were blessings to me. The people who remind me that even in America, there's poverty and there's discrimination and there's violence, they're blessings. Activists angry about climate change or the war in Ukraine, blessings. And folks pushing this congregation to be more inclusive and better than it is, they're blessings too. Like so many things, it's about finding balance, appreciating our well-being without becoming Dr. Pangloss. So I guess to put it a different way, some blessings make us comfortable, and some blessings make us uncomfortable. And the next time I'm counting my blessings, I'm counting all those types.
Amen.
Okay. Each week, we take a monetary offering to support our social justice work in the community. These donations are used to pay our organizational dues or to give directly to the organization. This month, our community partner we will share the collection with is New Hope Elementary School. You may donate by putting cash or a check in the basket. Make checks out to UUCH and put plate in the subject line. You may also donate online, but I don't see a QR code in the order of service, so you can go directly to the website. Okay. Please join me now in our prayer of collective gratitude found in your order of service. For the love that surrounds us every morning, for the friends beside us, and for the generous gifts just received, let us be truly grateful. Please rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn as we sing of Hope and Joy, number 1060 in the teal hymnal.
Despair.
Our closing words today come from Monica Cummings. Bless a stranger with a smile, beginning today to give thanks for all that you have. Blessings upon you, blessings upon me, blessings upon every living thing. Blessed be. Now, let us extinguish the chalice by saying in unison the closing words found in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, let not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace and blessed be.
Yeah, it does kind of reset your
your
expectation or something.
I've recently been reading
Well, I'm ready for
I've got a book yet, but apparently